some great additions this year, especially Trevor Bauer.
Do you think Bauer actually moves the needle? My picks for the World Series were both projected to have the most wins, so I'm a genius.
It's my lifestyle.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Grounds Crew. It's me, your boy Josh Gerson, along with my co-host
Bill Rom. What's going on, guys?
So let's jump right into it, Bill. What do you got for us today?
So the first thing I want to talk about was wins projections. Just came out on ESPN, and LA is at 104.2 projected wins. What are your thoughts?
I think that's honestly about right. You know, they're a machine. You know, and obviously in one of our earlier episodes, I said the Mets are going to win the World Series, hopefully. But the Dodgers are a powerhouse. I like that projection. They got some great additions this year, especially Trevor Bauer is going to help them to get some W's, and I think it's going to be an interesting
Do you think
season.
Bauer actually moves the needle?
To some degree, yeah. But I mean, they already had a great pitching staff.
Yeah.
You know, but it's going to help them get a few extra wins, beat some. Maybe he gets a shot at another ace, and he kind of holds them 1-0, whatever, 2-1 kind of thing.
I think it depends on which Trevor Bauer shows up.
Yeah.
If he's the 4 ERA guy, he'll be fine, but it's not going to be anything where you go, wow, they have this guy who has a 4 ERA.
Right.
He's also going to have to hit in the National League, and he hasn't had to do that before. So if he has to show up and step in and take at bats, does that break up his routine? He's a very routine-oriented guy with all the things that he has. Now that's going to be completely changed from anything he's done in a long while, if at all. So for me, I don't know. 104 is crazy to project the team to get to, especially when you're going to play the Padres. You know, and if everybody's thinking that the Padres are going to have a season like this, 104, that seems too much to me.
Okay.
New York Yankees. So obviously my picks for the World Series were both projected to have the most wins. So I'm a genius. The Yankees came in 96.3 wins. I feel like that is about what I think for them.
Okay.
What is your thought?
Yeah, I think so. Like they also had some great additions this offseason. And the AL East is going to have quite the setup. The Blue Jays look good. The Rays always have a solid team. But yeah, the Yankees they look like they have the right pieces this year. They've always been on the cusp right now of kind of having greatness getting to that championship. They've been in the playoffs a bunch, but I think this year's definitely a really good mixture for them. Their pitching staff looks the best it's been. And I like where this win setup is right now. And I don't think they're a 100-win team, maybe, but that right there is because they just have a lot of hard opponents at the end of the day.
See, I agree. I don't think a 100-win team is there. 96 seems about right, but it's funny that you get confused a little bit just now between AL and NL East because our next projection is Atlanta Braves. Atlanta Braves come in at 94.5 wins. This is the one that I think I disagree with most.
I was going to agree with you completely there. I think it's a little high.
Yeah.
The amount of phenomenal teams they have to play, especially NL East pitching staffs, they have a good offense, but their pitching staff is a little shaky. Like they have some kind of question marks there, and I think just kind of having to face off against the Nationals, the Mets, all the time, the Phillies, they're going to get batted around a little bit, and especially with some of the additions these other teams have had, it's going to be tough for them.
Yeah, I think the Mets are being undersold because of how they were last year. But if you go back 2 years ago and you look at what that team was, last year you lose Syndergaard, you lose Stroman, you have upheaval with the season in general. And you look at the team, they don't win as much, but then you look at the offense. Their offense was one of the best offenses in the league, and all you did this offseason was add Francisco Lindor to make it even better. Yeah. So
no big deal.
Their offense is going to be, if not the best offense in the NL, it's going to be in the top three. And now you look at the pitching staff with Stroman actually being there for the entire season. You're going to get Syndergaard back at some point in time. You already have DeGrom. I look at this team, and I don't know why they wouldn't be the favorites in that division.
Yeah.
And they come in later in this. But the next one, the story of last year, and everybody was hoping they were going to be terrible, and that didn't turn out. Houston Astros coming in 92.4, 92.9 wins, actually.
I was pleasantly surprised with their performance in the playoffs. I think, obviously the whole world wanted them to fail. Bottom line. And they show that they are a talented team. I think we already kind of knew that, but we wanted to discount it because of everything that happened. But they definitely have some really great pieces. Something that's interesting for next year is Carlos Correa is a free agent. They already lost George Springer. And I think losing Springer definitely hurts them. I could see them honestly going under 90 wins this year because of that loss of Springer. He's a great piece for them. I'm not sure what their situation is with center field right now. I think they had one of their young guys sliding over, but they have a lot of good pieces. They have a lot of experience there. I think they'll still be a great team at the end of the day.
They know how to win. They've been there before,
Yeah.
and we've talked about this with developing teams. Like you look in the NBA right now, and the Utah Jazz are one of the best teams in the league, and they're not necessarily the most talented. They don't have like the superstar top 5 player on their roster, but what they really are is a team that's been together for a long time with really good professionals.
Yeah.
And I think at this point, Houston is that. Maybe the guys who they have aren't all-stars. They're not the guys that they were when they were cheating, but they're still really good players.
Right.
And I can see them hanging around that number just because they know how to win games. So those close games, those things like that, I always trust that team than a team that's not necessarily used to the environment.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that number. The one thing I struggle with is I just don't look at Houston and it doesn't scream out to me 4th best team in baseball.
Yeah. I do think someone who I think should kind of have a bounce back year is Jose Altuve.
Yes.
I think the scandal mixed with the COVID season really threw him off. He did not look like himself last year. And I think he's definitely poised for a comeback, and I hope he does because I do like him as a player. I think the whole scandal really kind of tainted his image a little bit, but I loved how he played the game, who he was as a person, and I would love to see him be successful.
Bregman too. Like Bregman going into before all the cheating stuff came out, people were talking about MVP, like he's the guy, like he's one of the best 5 players in baseball, and it's all the stuff. And we've kind of like the sheen is off, right? It's not as fun, it's not as exciting to watch that team because you know of the bad things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, listen, they have a good solid roster. Again, I'm just curious if they're the 4th best team based off these projections. So coming in to round out the top 5, Minnesota 90.6. Thoughts?
I think that's perfect for them, honestly. I was kind of disappointed in them last year with their performance in the playoffs, and that seems to kind of be the thing with them is they get to the playoffs, have a great team, and they can't really get to that next step.
They're the discount New York Yankees.
Yeah, pretty much, and they showed it when they played the Yankees. They got bodied, and they're a great team. They're always going to play pretty good baseball. It's just really a question of if they have the ability to get to that next step.
Yeah, and I would agree. I think that the AL looks like it's clustered at the top. We don't really know who it's going to be. Whereas in the National League, it looks like it's LA, then a big fall off, and then it's who else. For me, number 6, 90.1 wins, New York Mets. Thoughts?
I love that. What the Braves have, 94.5?
Yeah.
So they're right around each other.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a really good battle. Like I said, I think the Mets pitching staff with also, like you were talking about, we got Syndergaard still coming back in June. We got Stroman, DeGrom, and now we had the additions of Walker, Carrasco. That kid Peterson looks pretty good.
Yep.
We got some depth there. We can really do some damage. Obviously we added Lindor, huge piece. Mets look good. I think 90's a little low. I'm going to be honest with you. I
think 90's low. I think the Carrasco signing isn't being given enough boost.
Definitely.
For how good he's been over the last 5 years, even that's a number 2, 3 guy in your rotation. When you look at the fact that the Mets have the best pitcher in baseball, and they have for a while, and then you follow that up with your number 2 guy is Stroman or Carrasco, right? You say your number 4 person is going to be Peterson or Taijuan Walker, and then eventually at some point in time you're going to get back Noah Syndergaard, who obviously wasn't himself over the last X amount of time because that a injury for Tommy John is usually not one single event. Right. You usually see some warning signs, and he had the lat injury before that. There were things showing that the machine was going to break down at some point.
Right.
So he's going to come back healthy, and he looks good when you're watching his videos of him throwing shirtless.
Yes, he does.
He's trying to show off that he's in good shape and he's ready to roll. I think 90's too low. I would tell you that you could flip-flop Atlanta and the Mets for me. I think the Mets are the second best team in the NL, and then I think it's you can make a case for Atlanta. I just personally, Soto is going to carry them. Right? What does he do? Oh no, Nationals.
Yeah, you're
Nationals.
talking about
Acuna.
Yeah.
Acuna. Acuna's going to carry them.
Yeah.
So who is he? If he's his best self, they're great. If he's not, we'll see.
Baseball lifestyle, it's my lifestyle.